Hi, everyone. I wanted to share some encouraging things about changes in my body over the last 5 years. When I started retraining and then started renewing my mind to the Word of God, brain retraining. You can hear my testimony and what happened. It's been, complete, absolute life change and a whole list of diagnoses and symptoms that are gone. But so I don't usually talk about the symptoms and diagnoses and all that stuff. It's not who I am anymore. And a lot of people that listen to me don't want to hear about it. So if you don't want to hear about any of that, don't listen. I'm not going to go into too much, but I was asked a question by somebody and I realized this could actually be helpful to more people to give more like concrete, like what actually happened to the tissue. So Ehlers-Danlos syndrome was one of my, I feel like kind of the foundational diagnoses, and then so many things with and following that and comorbidities of that and all of that. So EDS, Ehlers-Danlos, EHLERS-DANLOS. Anyway, I'll probably post it in the description, but and so I remember in a testimony, I was asked, like, can you describe that? And I thought, oh man, it was so wild because, I used to not just explain what was going on in my own body or explain to clients. I had clients that would want to understand more of the science, what is actually happening and what can I do and everything. I would do that. I also would talk to other professionals and help explain what was really going on. And so what to be careful of, what to help people with. Mostly physical therapists, some doctors. I just got asked a lot. And so I would just rattle it off. I had forgotten. and but it really is this weakening of the connective tissue. It's considered genetic, and yet and there's what was it, maybe in 2017, somewhere around there, they made a much more stringent set of guidelines for the hypermobile type. And so, but it is a weakening of connective tissue, that the connective tissue tears easily, stretches way out easily, is extra long, like there's no integrity to it. There's all these comorbidities that go with it. Another thing, sorry, I joked out something earlier, but and so there's a few different things, and I just wanted to share some more like kind of measurable things that happened as I healed. So earlier in my journey, I started seeing changes in just hope, in joy, in a little more calm, in I don't remember when energy started coming along, quite a ways, but maybe energy had already started. I think I may have already added in a couple of foods because I had, extremely limited diet and severe gastroparesis. I wasn't really digesting my food right. I'd lost a lot of muscle mass, all that stuff. But the joint dislocation subluxations had been so many years and so severe that, if I brushed my shoulder against the wall, my shoulder would visibly at least sublux, if not come out of the socket, that you could see it. I had people, I remember a neighbor, I had a tank top on, and she was like, your shoulder's dislocated. Do you need help putting that back in? And I'm like, oh, it's just hanging out. Like, I can't get it to stay back in, or, I bumped the wall, put it back in a minute. Like, there was just stuff in my body, head to toe. And and I'm not like that anymore. So people wanted to see, like, does the tissue actually change? I remember the first thing that I noticed when it was still really severe in just my day-to-day life. The first thing I noticed that was in appointments, if you'd like set my elbow down, they would want to do in my treatment appointments where I was being treated, if they were doing fascial work or anything, if they set my elbow down, my wrist would flop and my hand would hit my forearm. And it was distracting, or it wasn't how they need. So somebody would have to like hold my hand and support it. So I just was very aware of that. If I just rested it, it would fully hit my forearm. Now it's fully rested, it's going to like 90 degrees. And that changed. I don't know the timeline, but it's been like that for quite a while, and it's just stayed here. That's just, I'm not forcing that. I'm not like experiencing symptoms or not. They're not lying symptoms. That's just a measurable thing. It's very different than it used to be. I started noticing that, I used to just easily pull my hand back, and now I can bring it past 90, past straight up, but I could just easily bring my fingers back to my hand. And now, maybe I could force it. I'm not going to, but there's some integrity in the connective tissue. I'm going to grab Sandy because she's making some noise here. She's rolling around on her tunnel. I'm on the tip of my chair here because Pepper's on my chair and now Sandy's in my lap. It's good to have animals. So yeah, I saw that change, and it's like, okay, I maybe don't feel like I'm getting any better. I had changed in other things, but the pain and joint subluxation still seemed pretty severe. Looking back, I think they'd already improved, but it was just so much going on. And it's like, wait, no, I have an objective sign that things are changing. And then, so all my life, as far as I know, I guess I know from like age 10 or 12 on, I was insensitive to lidocaine, which is actually, I don't know that it's one of the signs, but it's common, and there's an explanation why, and I don't remember it, but anyway. So I had some pretty large moles cut out when I was like 10 or 12. And I remember they stuck a needle in. Now I know it was lidocaine. I had no idea it was supposed to numb me. The guy didn't really explain. Maybe I was too nervous to hear. I don't know. But then he was like, why are you pretending this hurts? He didn't ask if it was numb. So now I'm like, I learned that over time that they're supposed to ask if it's numb. He didn't. He just assumed it was and cut it off. It was very painful. I don't know. Maybe it had numbed it a little bit. I'm not sure, but it was very painful. And then as years went by and different things, they would use lidocaine to, cut out a number of different moles. I had a lot of big ones, and things over the years. I learned that, they do actually normally check and say, is this numb? And I'd say no, and they'd be so surprised. And one doctor learned if you use like 2.5 times and waited longer, there were some things he could do to help to make it more numb anyway. Not fully, but more. And couple years into this whole journey of healing, I had a mole removed, and it was numbed, and I had told them, I think I didn't tell them because I thought we'll see, but I was like, please check before you do it, because I was just curious. It was totally numb. I didn't know. I'm like, so really, people didn't feel pain? I had no idea. Like, that is my body changing, right? It is responding to something. I had no idea when they said numb that it really, truly would go numb and you had no pain. So that was like, wow, my whole, because we can turn, gene sequencing turns on and off with food and things, but I tried all that route way more with our subconscious thought patterns, and especially with our words, out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. And I was just so amazed to see the changes. Sandy's having fun here. And so, I just wanted to share that. And then also, because I'm a physical therapist, I worked on people, and I was a manual physical therapist. So you would check to see if people had hypermobility or instability in joints throughout the whole body. Now, I can't test my own spine hands-on, but I can test certain areas. And in school, I was injured and too sore when they practiced on me, but they did, and I got injured a lot. But there was one area just like years ago, maybe like 2007, 8, that I could still handle people practicing on. It was just the fibular head, right at the outside of the knee, the bone that sticks out there, and you can feel it move. And these are all, like, you can feel how much movement it should have, how much it does, and it's very easy to feel. And I remember letting people sometimes, like a newer grad that really was trying, or not necessarily a newer grad, but somebody who was really trying to learn manual skills a little bit more, early on, before I got as severe, I could let people practice on that area. And I remember the last guy who did it almost threw up, because he was like, there's no end. There's no resistance at all. It's just like a bone flopping in her leg. It feels like I could pull it out of her leg. And I was like, yep, that's instability. So that's it. Because I walked around, and without clothes on, they always said it looked like a bag of bones. And So that I love, not that I played with it much because I just kept my mind off of it, but I remember getting curious one day and realizing it was different. I could feel end ranges. I could feel that the ligament had shortened up and strengthened up and had some resistance to it, which is good. When I do it now, it's totally normal amount of range. It's awesome. So our body is changeable. This isn't like, oh, Janet just handled the symptoms better. No, my body changed, right? We know that there's imbalance in the muscles to pull things out of whack. So if I let myself get really, really stressed, that could happen in anybody, right? But I don't have a completely unstable joint now, which is what I had before in most of the joints in my body. And so it's just amazing. Our body can change. Our ligaments change. The genetic sequencing that turns on and off, that builds the cartilage the right way and everything, it changes. We are built. We are designed to heal. I believe Jesus paid for our healing. It's done, and we just have to take hold of it. But the truth is, I didn't know that when all of these things started changing in my body, because I changed my thoughts. I changed my belief. I changed what I was taking in, all of it. So I teach everything that I did now, right? Most of it's free. So join us, janetmassey.com. But I really hope this helps some people just with any symptom diagnosis. Our body change. These are structural things, right? These are, anyway. So our body changes. It's designed to heal. Especially though, if you have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I really hope this encourages you. I feel like it took me a while to get it out. Sorry that was so long, but I hope you have a wonderful day. And join us, janetmassey.com and Sandy.